finished with week 1 of our Zero Waste Challenge. And before we get into the nitty gritty and show you guys the waste that we produced this week,
which was quite a bit.
Yeah, we produced some waste. We wanted to kind of talk to you a little bit about our food philosophy, because when we posted about a week ago, we got a lot of questions regarding whether or not we were vegan. And the short answer to that is no. Stephen and I are not vegan. So we do follow, though, a pretty strict philosophy when it comes to food and the food that we...
Or we try to.
Right. The food that we bring into our home. And the person who inspired us most in regard to how we view food is probably Michael Pollan. And there's something that he says that really rings true with us, and that is that all people should eat food, mostly plants, and not too much. So that's kind of what we try to follow. In regard to grocery shopping, when we bring food into our home, during the week we do not buy meat or dairy, and that's more of a frugal living thing. We choose not to buy those items because they tend to be really expensive, especially if you buy them ethically. So if you're buying meat that's sustainably raised and dairy that's sustainably raised, it tends to get really, really pricey, and I'm talking like $10 for a very small thing of ground beef. So during the week, we do not eat beef or dairy.
Or we don't buy it, but that doesn't mean we don't eat it. You know what I mean? Of course, if we're going out to dinner with friends or something, or on the weekends going out, then we will consume meat and dairy. And I have cheese. You saw last video that I eat cheese, stuff like that. So
and we usually only eat out about once a week. That's kind of our regular thing. We have a food budget of $100 a week. Everything you see here today came out to $87 total. So we think that's pretty good. I guess what we wanted to show you this for was kind of show you what we're still struggling with in terms of packaging and where we're starting to really get it right. So, and we also wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about how zero waste isn't something that happens overnight, and it's not about being perfect.
Yes, definitely. And one thing I want to mention before we get started with this is Michael Pollan's eat food, not too much, and stuff, that little phrase. But when he says food, what he's meaning by food, because a lot of us, we think, you hear food, you think of just anything you can find in the supermarket that's food, like Walmart or whatever. But for him, his idea of food is something that rots, and something that like isn't, so processed food doesn't count. You know what I mean? Stuff that you can put on a shelf and let sit there for a few months and nothing happens to it. He calls it an edible food-like substance, so you can eat it. But the idea is that mostly processed foods are less helpful. So we can get started with what we actually bought.
Yeah, so when we went to the market today, we just went to Sprouts, and then I also got a couple things at the food co-op, which is something in downtown Tucson, where you can get some package-free food. So we'll start with the good. So something that we used to struggle with a lot is pasta, because Stephen and I, we love pasta. Yeah, we love pasta. We eat a lot of it.
In my blood, right?
Yeah. So we finally found at the co-op, we found that you can get bulk pasta, so it doesn't come in that plastic packaging, and it saves a lot on recyclables. So what I did is I just brought our cloth bags to the co-op, and they weigh the bags, so you're not paying for the extra weight. And you can pretty much get anything there. You can even get cashew butter, which I plan to try next time. I also got my loose leaf tea there. You can see I've repurposed it in a honey jar, but I got some mint green tea. And that's pretty much all I got there, because it tends to be a little bit pricey for produce. So we stick to Sprouts Farmers Market for produce. Although there are a couple little annoying things with it, it's not too bad when it comes to waste. So we also got, I guess I'll just run you through it. So we got some dark chocolate for Stephen. We got some eggs that we're going to use for breakfast throughout the week. We do eat eggs too, that's not a vegan thing, but we do buy them sustainably. We always buy cage-free and organic, just because the way that they're treated is pretty cruel. And obviously we know it's more expensive to buy cage-free organic eggs. There's just no way getting around it, but we feel like within our own budget, whatever works for you, and that's totally fine. But within our budget, $100 a week is something that we can manage on our current salaries. And the organic eggs do fit into that. So I don't know, do you want to walk them through some of the other stuff?
Kale, half a head of cabbage, avocados, banana, broccoli, Brussels sprouts. Talk about the packaging in a minute. breadcrumbs, bread, a loaf of bread, orange juice, red wine vinegar, cans of beans. So we have 2 pintos, lentils, and 2 black beans.
For chili.
Garlic, onions, lemons, potatoes, apples, celery, carrots. And then we were excited to find that they have bulk bread sprouts. So we got some of those in our cloth bag. Again, we'll save them back.
Yeah, and some of the things we're going to make this week, we're going to make a chili, we're going to make smoothies, we're going to make vegan Slappy Joes, we're going to make some orzo soup, and quite a few other things. So we cook almost every day.
Yeah, it takes probably about half an hour to an hour total of prep time and cooking. And I think if you're gonna heat up a pizza or something in the oven, usually it takes probably about half an hour. I mean, I know you can be doing something else while you're waiting for the oven to preheat while it's cooking, but I found it really enjoyable to start cooking a little bit. Of course, I don't know much yet. We're still learning. This is our journey. But the more I cook, I found it to be a really a good come down after a day of work to sit in the kitchen and prepare everything, kind of concentrate on that, and it's kind of meditative.
And it kind of gives us like a time when we get home where we can talk and cook at the same time. Listen to music, and then we'll still sit down and watch a Netflix episode or something afterward. But it's kind of something that really does unwind us and allows us to really focus in on where our food comes from and why it's so important to nourish our body this way.
And so do you want me to talk about the packaging? So,
yeah, we're going to talk about the packaging
right
now.
up front, we can kind of tell what's not zero waste. We have the rubber bands on here, on asparagus. These, it says organic, but I mean, it's just it's like a sticker, something wrapped around the cabbage. All of the little stickers on each individual item, the apples, potatoes, onions, all have a little sticker. The eggs come in the cardboard, which we can recycle, but still, Brussels sprouts.
This is the worst thing we bought today. We really wanted Brussels sprouts, so we consciously made the decision that this came in single-use plastic. And it's not about feeling guilty. I think that's something we need to make really clear. It's about doing your best when you can and limiting the things you send to landfill. So we're not perfect, and I really think it's unreasonable to ask for anyone to be perfect. But this is going to the landfill, and that's something that we just have to live with and understand that it's going there.
Going off that, the pursuit of perfection, I think our philosophy is, as we're going through this journey, is not to set a standard of what's perfect or what's right or wrong and then try to go slowly towards the standard. I think for us, it's creating a more, just an awareness of what we're consuming and what we're putting in our bodies and stuff like that. And then we can make a conscious decision if am I happy with this, what I'm currently doing, or do I want to make changes to make myself more fulfilled and more satisfied in what I'm doing. So I think, again, we're just trying to create an awareness of the food that we're consuming and how it's packaged, where it comes from, and then, again, we're not saying we're perfect. We don't expect anyone to be perfect.
Another thing I think it's really important to acknowledge is that this has been a large and long journey. We've been doing this for almost a year now, where we've been slowly reducing our waste. And so I think one thing you'll find if you want to reduce your waste is that it's frustrating at first, because everything in our homes are, for the most part, disposable and single use. So you'll find that before you make less trash, you might actually make more as you replace things that are disposable. So
like
one
sponges,
thing,
stuff like that, cleaning supplies.
So basically, things that you are going to throw out, since we really suggest that you use things before you throw them out. So just because you'll notice that when you transition into zero waste, the things that you have might first appear to you as being less beautiful than they were before. So if you have a plastic container that your dish soap sits in, you might be frustrated when you see that, because you're looking to replace it with something that lasts longer and is of higher quality. So it takes a little bit of patience to first use up what you already have, and then when it comes time, then you can replace it with something sturdier, more beautiful, and long-lasting.
And of course, when you're trying to conserve resources, I guess you could say, you don't want to just go throw away. So I mean, if you have a packet of sponges and you want to eventually switch over to zero waste, like a scrub brush or something like that, compostable, we don't go throw away all your sponges. Just use them until you can, and then later on,
thank them, enjoy them, and then move on. It's not about being perfect right away or even ever. It's really about enjoying your home and your space and having it be a tranquil setting for you to relax in and unwind and spend your limited free hours in. So,
and going off that
yeah.
again, kind of like the minimalism. I was talking with a friend and he was like, I have too much stuff. And if you look at it in a certain way, everyone has too much stuff. You know, I mean, we could all do less. But I feel like worrying about, I have too much stuff, I don't think we should be focusing on the quantity if you're trying to, it's more, it doesn't matter if you have a ton of clothes, more power to you. But I think what we're trying to do in minimalism as a whole, I think is just to go through your house and all the items individually, evaluate each item and see if you want to intentionally keep it. Do you want this to be part of your life? Does this bring you joy? Do you like it? And so that's more the concept. So if you really enjoy clothes, for an example, a lot of people have a lot of clothes, and we do too. We have probably too many. But it's more to figure out which items you enjoy and want to use instead of just having so much that you're overwhelmed with and not really. When you're overwhelmed with stuff in your house, you don't really realize the things you enjoy, and it's kind of a background kind of anxiousness you're feeling all the time.
And we like to think of this more in terms of what works for us and what doesn't. Not what's good or bad or evil even, but literally what works for our family and what doesn't work for our family. So, for example, single-use plastic, it just doesn't work for us. It might work for somebody else. It doesn't work in our home.
Yeah, that's okay.
Right, so I don't know if there's anything else we need to say about our groceries. You can see there's a couple areas we still need to work on. For example, like the bread. I haven't found a good packageless bread that will last all week and not go bad, not go stale or rotten. So we still go ahead and get the Dave's bread, but it's something that if anyone has any suggestions, we're definitely willing.
We want to create an open dialogue for all, express or show our journey and what the steps we're trying to improve our lives and make it more fulfilling. But also we want to reach out to you, and so always feel free to share ideas, or if you have a better way of doing something, we'd love to hear.
We're all open ears.
Yes, definitely. So here is our trash.
Yes. So this jar is recyclable, but we kind of just like stuck all of our non-recyclable stuff in it for the whole week. And this is just our landfill trash. So we're going to show you in a minute that we also did create quite a bit of recycles this week. And I just want to point out again that it's taken us a long time to get down to this amount of trash. We were doing 1 to 2 of the big trash bags. I don't know how many gallons they are.
The drawstring.
Yeah, regular drawstring, probably 2 a week when we first started this process. So again, I just really don't want to put off that you're supposed to be perfect overnight, or even that we are in some way perfect, because obviously we have a long way to go.
And then this is styrofoam. You know, people don't like this very often. But this was from it. It's made me more thinking about the trash I'm producing. That's what I've been thinking about a lot this past week, and I'm realizing how I create waste in a lot of unexpected ways. Like this was from a coworker, Teresa, a lovely woman. She offered, it was on Friday, fish tacos at a local restaurant near our work. And she was like, hey, you want me to pick you up one? I was like, of course, who doesn't want a fish taco? And then she brought it and it was in this. And I was like, oh, shoot. So it makes me realize next time I'll have to either go with her and bring a Tupperware and then I can pick it up there, or just find another way of getting food, takeout food, or from restaurants that doesn't involve styrofoam.
Yeah, so this is one of our small mishaps, but we did do good at other times. There was one day that we went out for food with our in-laws, and we did bring a Tupperware to take home our leftovers, so we were pretty proud of that. So we have some good and some slightly less good things that happened.
And so here's the
contents of our trash.
So I'll just dump it out. We can sort through it.
Oh my goodness. So I will say that a lot of the trash we created this week were leftovers from the holiday season. The holiday season is definitely a time of year when kind of a lot of our things just go to the wind, right? And we just go with the flow, and you're trying to survive it all. So a lot of these were like stocking stuffers.
Yeah, for me. So this was just prepackaged beef jerky.
Beef jerky.
See, not vegan, but Haley got me. And then also chocolate. Lots of chocolate wrappers.
We kind of went ham on chocolate. That's why we did buy the bulk chocolate this week, because we're like, we still love chocolate. We don't want to get rid of chocolate.
But we realized individually packaged ones just kind of adds up.
It creates a lot of trash.
And then it's the bag. I still actually have the bag with a few left up in the pantry.
Yeah.
And then this ties from you saw it before. Is around the cabbage. Yeah. So this is it's kind of like a big twisty tie, but this is something that will just be thrown away.
The good thing is when you create less trash, your trash tends to be less gross, so we're kind of okay touching
Yeah, because most of the kind of food waste or kind of gross stuff goes in our compost.
We compost that. And like I said, we don't have meat during the week, so meat's something you can't compost, the scraps from that, so I guess that helps too.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, so mostly we eat meat out, so like at your cafe or something.
Yeah. And then here's our Dave's Bread packaging, like I showed you, we bought that again, which I felt like...
So active choice to create waste.
Yeah, I know it's not in line with the challenge, but we like it, it's healthy for us, it works for us.
And so it's something we've been thinking about, just how to get bread.
Okay, this one is kind of
what is that?
Ironic.
Oh,
yeah. So you know that Stephen and I just started making our own zero waste products on our website. And so I found a really good deal on glass jars and I was like so excited. These jars are like $1 a piece. I can make so much laundry soap. And they came totally wrapped in plastic. So that's just life. So I don't know what to do about that.
This is going in the landfill. So not completely zero waste products. So keep
no,
that in mind.
Sorry guys. We're working on
it. Even another thing I'd like to mention is even bulk foods at the store like Sprouts that has a bulk section.
Yeah.
Even if we're not taking home a plastic bag, I mean that food had to get there somehow.
Yeah.
I mean,
somewhere down the consumer line there was probably plastic because when they're dumping into those bulk bins, they're usually out of like big bags.
Or produce or anything, Produce. It's not like it comes, they have like a citrus grove in the back of Sprouts where they're growing everything. It's just it just has to get there somehow. So we're not worrying about that for now, but just
one problem at a time.
Yep.
Okay, this is we went to the grocery store and we used one produce bag.
Well, because we forgot our cloth box.
We forgot, So that's a big thing, is just being prepared, because if you're not prepared, it's like, am I going to drive all the way home, or am I just going to use one plastic bag?
Of course.
We didn't do so good on that, but that's okay. This is like that concentrated lime juicy stuff. We've had this for a really, really, really long time.
Probably too long.
It's probably not super good for you, but that's life. It's a number 4 plastic. I'm going to do a video about recycling properly in the coming days, but this is a number 4, and number 4s are like the same type of plastic that most grocery plastic bags are made out of. And so they are typically not recyclable, although some stores do now take the grocery bags back. I'm pretty sure they're not going to take my little lime container, so that's going to the landfill.
These the twisty ties that I told you about.
The dreaded twisty ties.
These are to label the Sprouts bulk thing. So even if we bring a cloth bag, we sell these. So I'm thinking we're actually going to save these and reuse them at least a few times until we can scribble out the old one, write the new number. But eventually it'll be thrown away. So
not a perfect solution, but not the end of the world. There's more chocolates.
Yeah,
we just didn't have chocolates this week.
We like chocolates. And then all the stickers from again we mentioned every avocado and onion and stuff all have little stickers, and there's nothing we can do.
Yeah. Here's more little produce wrappy things. I don't know. That's just how it
emergency packet. We bought these a while back, but it's like individual vitamin C fizzy drink. So
it's
that's
like mostly sugar, but it has like a little bit of vitamin C in there.
Nostalgic about childhood. This is what is this?
I don't know.
Adhesive. Oh, so it must have been some sort of tape or something we were using. Remove to expose adhesive. It says so.
We have a destroyed cat toy that the dog's destroyed. You can hear them barking. They're complaining right now because we have them in the other room, but that's okay.
Pasta wrapper, and so this is what inspired us to get the bulk pasta food co-op. So that was kind of a direct
this is one of the things, like, we're not super brand loyal to pasta like we are the Dave's Bread, so we're like, we can switch this out if I can find it full.
And there, little scraps of
this is scraps of t-shirts that I actually made rags out of. So, like, it was a t-shirt that wasn't really worth donating anymore, and I made rags out of it, and there's like a little bit left over.
And then here's another tag.
That's another tag. This is Steven's headphones.
They got chewed up.
The dogs ate the headphones.
So here's.
So as you can tell, like a lot of our waste comes from these doggos destroying things.
In there, a little bit of saran wrap. Can't remember what it was from, but.
This is more random plastic
And then
pieces.
just packaging something or other. Rubber bands. and a little salsa thing from my fish taco.
This is from the fish tacos. And not recyclable.
Number 6, not
I'm not
recyclable.
sure. Yeah, I
Or
don't think
maybe
it
we
is.
can look it up.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
So
So here it is.
yep, that's all of our trash for the week. I think it's important that we also show you our recyclables because we do create those. It kind of irritates me a lot of times when you watch zero waste videos. They don't show you their recycling because it doesn't go directly to the landfill, but it's still waste because it takes a lot of energy to break down materials and turn them into new materials. And a lot of times that energy comes from fossil fuels and things that just obviously are better than the landfill but aren't great for the environment. So I'm going to get our recycling to show you now.
And one thing I'd like to point out is all the waste that we can't save, such as when we're out at restaurants and stuff using the restroom, maybe possibly paper towels or obviously toilet paper, which is extra waste that we can't put in this jar, or don't want to put in the jar, we could say.
Yeah. So this is our recycling for the week. Almost all of this is junk mail. Like there is so much junk mail in here which you can recycle. And I don't know how to get rid of junk mail, so if anyone does, I would like to know, and you can just drop that in the comments below. And then a little bit of the other recycling. Again, these are eggs. We did have strawberries last week that came in this plastic. We chose not to get any fruit in plastic this week because we like to do better and better each week if possible. But yeah, this is pretty much all of our recycling.
So that's some miscellaneous stuff. There's metal cans, lots of paper envelopes. Here's another carton of pasta.
Again, which we
got the bulk,
eliminated
so
this week.
that was kind of cool. Yeah, more junk mail.
And, here's one thing I wanted to talk about. Almond milk. So I go through a lot of almond milk, and they come in these cartons, which are cardboard, but they're coated in polyurethane plastic. So some recycling places can take them and some can't. They have to have like this special machine that strips the polyurethane off the cardboard before it can be recycled. And so we fortunately have waste management and can recycle this. But now I've learned that it's super duper easy to make almond milk. I did like a little trial last week. So I'm gonna make a video of that too, just showing how easy it is to make your own almond milk and not have these cartons. So
awesome.
yeah.
What question? Do you know if tape is that? Should we take
No,
that off?
that needs to go in our
So see,
trash
so
jar.
we'll take this off. But see, that's more waste. So we need to rip off the tape before recycling. And then here's the old paper bag.
Can't be reused anymore.
So
that's pretty much it. I guess to round it off before we say goodbye to you guys, I just wanted to remind you kind of why we are doing this and why we want to share it with you guys. And I think the main thing is that we started to feel a little bit helpless when it comes to politics, when it comes to the environment. You feel like your voice doesn't matter sometimes and like it's all out of your control, and that can be a little bit stressful. So
and depressing.
So this just kind of makes us more optimistic, like we do have a say. I know because we're a capitalist society here in the United States that the most powerful thing you can do is vote with your dollar. Your dollar really changes the way the world is around you and the way that you choose to spend it. So I guess that's what we're trying to do here is change supply and demand. So if we're demanding products that don't come in plastic, if we're demanding products that are healthy for our bodies, then our capitalist society and large corporations will respond. They'll respond by giving us package-free products, by giving us food that's better for us, and by making that more efficient and cheaper.
Well, think about the explosion of organics recently.
Yeah.
I mean, in the last few years.
People are like, I don't want pesticides. That's not good for my
and
body.
So the farmers change because they're still going to grow. So just something to think about is where you put your dollars has a big impact.
Yeah. So we appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. We're going to upload again next week and show you how week number 2 went in our zero waste challenge. So thank you.
Peace.